The world is full of gremlins. Everybody's trying to take what's yours. Everybody's trying to believe that they're better than you, but they don't have the will or the effort or the drive to do so. You know, you have things that they want, and they think that you don't deserve them. Well, I'm here to tell you that you probably deserve better, if we're being real. But you have to believe it. You see, the mind, you have to feed the mind certain prompts, right? This is why it's so important to read the Bible. And meditation is not about emptying the mind. It's not about trying to be nothing. There's a little bird right there. It's not about trying to be nothing. It's not about trying to empty yourself. It's about filling yourself with the right things and the right understandings so that you can move through the world in a more appropriate way. Well, what exactly does that mean? Well, it means that you have to tell yourself certain things. This is why self-talk is very important. If you tell yourself, I'm confident, I'm capable, I am able to summon whatever I need in my life through God's will because of my faith, that's going to be a very different outcome, likely, than the kind of outcome that you would have where you say, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm not enough here, I'm not enough there. If you're focusing on what you're not doing rather than what you are capable of, and you have to really have this, what I call pathological confidence. You have to have pathological confidence in some way to really get to the next level in this life. That bird is going really close to just chill out. But anyway, so you've got to feed the mind certain things. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is in Romans, and it says, faith comes by hearing and by hearing again. It's like, man, now that's really something. Well, if I have that faith then inside myself, and I incorporate this thought as a thought algorithm, I'm going to propel myself toward a better state of being, because I'm going to trust that whatever is more worthy of faith, is most worthy of faith, I'm going to be hearing and hearing again. But it's also deeper than that, but that's the most practical way to look at it. And remember, your mind is an electromagnetic satellite. So what you feed the mind is going to be eventually what becomes your reality. And there really is no such thing as separation in this life. You know, a lot of people think that, oh, you know, I'm separate from the universe, or I'm separate from the world, or I'm separate from other people, I'm isolated. You're never really isolated. Like, yes, if we want to speak on practical terms, it's very true that you can be isolated. But realistically, if you want to talk about spirituality, there is no really such thing as separateness. Separateness only comes from thinking that you're separate. Remember in The Matrix, where Neo has the spoon, and he, like the child says, you know, bend the spoon with your mind. And he's like, how do I bend the spoon with my mind? It's like, realize there is no spoon. Okay, realize that the world and the universe itself is happening outside of you, but only because you can recognize it's happening inside of you. Therefore, the happenings of reality are not outside of you, they're inside of you. And this is what makes us so unique, is we're able to recognize this as creatures, really, because we're spiritual beings living in an animal human body, right? The flesh. And we have this body to learn. We're here to learn. We're experiencing this life to learn. And so if you are in an experience where the situation that you are experiencing is not satisfactory, that's kind of your fault, man. It's kind of your fault. And you must take accountability for this. In fact, the only way to move forward is to take accountability. And in that accountability, you'll find freedom. In that accountability, it might hurt a little bit to accept, yep, I made this decision, I made that decision. That wasn't really the smartest thing, but it happened and it's happening. So, what do you do, right? Well, I'll tell you what you do. You don't really need to do, and you don't really need to do anything, but the best thing to do is to just orient yourself more properly toward a state of being that's going to reward you with that which you want to see more of in your life and not less of. If you want to be around more healthy people, you've yourself got to become more healthy. It's mind-blowing to me how many fat people there are that think that they deserve more. It's like, you're already more, man. Like, you're already more. You're a little too much. And it's not like you're too sensitive or you're just too much to handle. It's just that all you're about is consumption, man. All you're about is consumption. And anybody that's all about consumption is not going to be able to be a proponent for creation. Okay? So if you are wanting to be a proponent for creation, if you want to be a propeller in the reality that we live in, if you want to be a part of the simulator and not the simulation, you've got to learn how to create and cultivate. And that means to stop consuming. And I had a comment on one of my videos recently where I talked about fat people. And the person said in one of the comments that I'm fat shaming. Well, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I don't know. I'm not trying to be shameful or shame anybody or whatever, but maybe we need a little bit more shame. Maybe we need a little bit of that. I know when I was almost 200 pounds, at 5'6", mind you, okay? People have said that I have a personality of like a 6.5 foot person. Or 6 foot and like 6 inches kind of person, like whatever. I have the aura of a really tall person, apparently, according to a lot of people. I'm 5'6". Like I'm not tall. Now I'm tall in my spirit, and I'm fortified in my spirit, and I've got a lot of soul. And my confidence comes from my connection to God. My confidence doesn't come from my accolades or my height or anything. Like, I've had women that are 5'10", 5'11", even 6 foot, actually. I've had women like this try to make stuff happen with me. And it's not because, like, that height thing is a delusion, man. Like, people think that women care about height and six-pack abs and all this stuff. And they do. They do care about it. But it's not nearly as important as they make it out to be. Okay, the standards that women have, this is a crazy thing, right? Standards that women have, they are not actually standards that they will adhere to all the time. They will not. They just won't. Because they want to know about the internal strength of the man. They want to know about his spirit. I guarantee you, if you talk to a woman, if you just ask her, has there ever been a time where you are talking to a guy and at first you're not really attracted to him, but then all of a sudden, after you start to communicate with him for a while, he starts to become really attractive? I guarantee you, almost every single woman that you talk to will say yes. It's very true, because that's just how they work, man. they might not like you on the outside first, but if you just come in with confidence, and if your confidence comes from God, then of course you're not going to be seeking validation from them. Of course you're not going to be needy. Why would you be? But anyway, the point here is like, if you feel like you deserve better, but you can't change certain things about your life circumstances, like you can't change your height, but you can change your weight, right? You can't really change your, I don't know, like eye color. You can't really change what you're naturally good at and talented at. You can't really change, like for example, me, I love basketball. I love playing basketball. And I really wanted to play basketball in high school, but I was just way more naturally better at tennis. So I played tennis. And I like tennis. I still love tennis, but I love playing basketball more. I don't know if it was just the kind of environment that I grew up in or what, but there was just something about basketball where going one-on-one in basketball really got to demonstrate like how powerful you can be, even as a short person, because I had handles, and I still do a little bit, but I've got handles, and I can really shoot. I can really shoot the three ball, you know. Driving is a little difficult for me, but I can do a little bit of a fadeaway shot, and I can handle the ball pretty well, and I can shoot well. And I can play all right defense, but I'm not really good at rebounding. I'm not always the great at passing the ball. Like, I can do some really good assists and such, but I'm not like a Steve Nash out there. I used to watch Steve Nash a lot when I was younger because I just loved his ability to pass the ball. Jason Kidd was another one, but you know, like having these certain people that you would like, okay, they're perfecting their craft. They know how to do certain things. How do I get to be like that? How do I practice the way that they do so that I can get to where they are and beyond? You know, because once you get to a certain spot in your circumstance where you know what to change, you may not be able to change a lot, but you can change certain things. If you can change enough to where now you're capitalizing on your strengths. You're playing the system instead of it playing you. You're playing the matrix. You broke a code in the matrix. If you believe that you deserve better, and you are capable of changing, and you're doing that change for the better in your life, nothing's going to stop you. Like, believe that this is the truth and watch the magic happen, man. Believe that this is the truth. Because you have to think about this, right? Think about like ChatGPT or Grok. They're like AIs, right? They're artificial intelligence. If you say to Grok or to ChatGPT, you know, write a 200-word essay. I'm going to be using the Prince. We've been going through the class, the Prince in the Regal Change Academy. So I'm going to use this example that we have for one of the classes. You know, we're doing weekly writing assignments for the class to draw on our reading and how to implement that into our ways of life. And so it's just a utility of practice, right? So one of the prompts that I've given people recently was, you know, suppose that you are writing as a counselor to a CEO or a leader of some kind, whatever, using Machiavelli's The Prince as a backdrop for how to how to incorporate his ideas into how you would counsel this person in this position. And you could, if you wanted to, you could put in, you know, write a 150 to 300 word essay on how to incorporate Machiavelli's ideas while writing to a CEO of a tech startup or something like that, right? Grok or ChatGPT will write that 150 to 300 word essay, right? But you know you can do that with your mind, right? You know that you can do that with what you have available already. It's already inside you. You just have to allow yourself to be a vessel. You just have to allow yourself to be a channel of the Most High's will. And you'll get it done. The answer will show up. The answer will very much show up. So next time that you want to go to ChatGPT or Grok or whatever to do the work that you know is you're capable of inside you already, I mean, don't do that. You deserve to be more acquainted with your mind. And you deserve better. Deserving better, not just in your relationships, but in your career or in your life or in your whatever it is. It's all about this first. What are your thought algorithms? How are your thought algorithms programming you for better or for worse? And what can you do to change or optimize these things? Because that's going to be the key going forward. Can you, as a person, reformat your electromagnetic satellite that is your mind? All right? So with all that being said, I hope that this message was useful and insightful for you. You deserve better, man. Or woman, whoever's watching this. I've had a lot more women recently joining the Regal Change Academy, actually, as well as calls and such, so one-on-ones. So it's pretty interesting and fascinating to see that. I'm actually very pleased to see that, because originally I thought that my message was going to be more catered toward women, because I thought that there were going to be a lot more women that were in the New Age practices that were seeking certain things about God, but didn't get those New Age understandings that they could with Christ. But really, God works in mysterious ways. I just happened to talk about semen retention a few times, and that's really been one of the biggest topics on this channel. And God has really urged me to talk about this more, because it seems like more men need to hear about it. More men need to hear about semen retention and purity. And that's part of deserving better, is realizing that you can discipline yourself. You don't have to give in to lust all the time. You can be who you are. And you don't have to sacrifice your dignity or your integrity or your purity for the sake of fleshly desires. All right? So I hope that this was edifying for you or informative in some way, shape, or form. And if you do want to schedule a one-on-one, I'm doing 2 different kinds of one-on-ones right now. I'm doing a Godlike Mastery Initiation program, which is strictly for people that have the financial resources as well as the time to do something like this. It's going to be a 3-month optimization plan in 3 phases. The first one will be optimizing your physical nutrition and your physical health. The second will be your emotional and intellectual stability. And then finally, your spiritual alchemy, that incorporation of the Spirit, so that you can set forth into this upheaval of your life. The general one-on-ones are the other kind of one-on-ones I'm doing, so those are just more generalized for people. If you do want to schedule a free 15-minute call in the Regal Change Academy, because we have people that they're not quite sure if they're interested, they don't know if they want to commit just yet, so they want to get to know more about it. So go ahead and schedule a free 15-minute call. The link's in the description box below. And just as a boundary being set forward, because we've had a lot of people on those calls, and it's great to see that, but we've had a few people that have scheduled and then they've been a no-show, and then they want to reschedule, and then they're a no-show, and then they want to reschedule, and it's like, okay, no, we're not doing this. Okay, so from now on, if you want to schedule a free 15-minute call, that's great. But if you're a no-show, you will not be considered for another free call down the line. You would just have to join the Regal Change Academy, or you would have to book a call with me on a one-on-one. So, with all that being said, I hope everybody has a blessed day. Peace be with you all, and until next time.